traders do this, right? Support and resistance, right? Let's finish on this topic because I think it's a very important topic. So you don't find these lines. I've said that twice. You don't find these lines. You don't draw these lines. You don't spot these lines. You don't try and find multiple taps. You don't eyeball what looks good. You don't use ICT concepts to find the zones. You don't wait for large, impulsive, momentum, big, nice candles. I've heard all of it throughout my years. You don't use anything else apart from footprint charts because footprint charts tell you who's in control between buyers and sellers. And if sellers are in control, it's a resistance. If buyers are in control, it's a support. That's it. That's all you need to do. So you don't need to draw lines like Picasso. You don't need to find the lines. You're not looking for a needle in a haystack. You don't need to find multiple taps. You don't need to eyeball the zones. You definitely don't want to eyeball the zones because you're basically saying you can read buyers and sellers in $1 trillion market, and you can't with your eyes. You can't do that. Fight me. You can't do that. You don't need to wait for large moves, impulsive moves, momentum candles, break candles, nice candles, long candles, hammer candles, shooting star candles, I already said that. Inverse hammers. You don't need to wait for any of that. All you do is you find a zone, you wait for price to come in the zone, and you look for buyers and sellers in that zone, right? And if you're stuck on that, this is what buyers and sellers actually look like. So what I'm going to do is this concludes the footprint chart training. Hopefully you have a rough understanding of how footprint charts work. In the next few videos, I'm going to be breaking down different types of order flow tools because we haven't covered how to use order flow with things like delta, volume, etc., etc. I'm going to be going over that in future videos, and then we're going to use this stuff on the charts to go over supply and demand, right? So this is basically where we're heading. We are heading towards support and resistance or supply and demand, right? So we're going to understand how to find these zones using